What I thought would be helpful to look at to start with is what taxes are sort of yielding the most money for the UK. And you can see the top four are sort of income tax, VAT, national insurance and corporation tax. Although corporation tax rates have been coming down, the actual yield has been increasing, and which is obviously extremely helpful for the UK. And what you often find as well with sort of lower rates of corporation tax is obviously as businesses grow and develop and more employment is created, then obviously your income tax and your national insurance yields improve as well. Next, I think it's helpful to look at what the money is actually spent on. So, again, top five: welfare, the NHS, education, defence and debt interest. The one sort of major talking point is obviously the NHS and health spending, because that has been in the news a lot in recent times with regards to how we're actually going to fund it into the future. The consensus is that it is underfunded and that we can't continue in the way that we are going. Our spending in the UK is close to the sort of international average, but at the same time we raise less in revenue, which leaves us running sort of one of the largest budget deficits in the industrial world. And our net debt in the UK is also higher than the average of other industrial countries, and the point he made is that we cannot continue like this and that there has to be a rebalancing. What Philip Hammond has also done this year is that he has reduced the dividend allowance from 5,000 to 2,000, and that is the amount of money the amount of dividends that you receive and not pay tax on. And as has been widely publicised, the Class 4 NIC is going up by 1% to 10% from 6th of April 2018, and then a further 1% in 2019. So what Theresa May has confirmed today is that there will be no vote actually taken on this until the autumn. And what they are attempting to do is tie a decision on this in with a report that is due out in the summer from Matthew Taylor into the rights of the self-employed and what they call gig economy workers. The status of gig economy workers is actually very important, as them being treated as self-employed individuals has impacted on the government's tax take. The Office for Budget Responsibility has estimated that by 2021 it will cost the Treasury about 3.5 billion. So Philip Hammond and the government are looking for more effective ways of trying to tax workers in the changing labour environment that we're now presented with. And it is likely that there will actually be a full-scale revision of the tax system for the self-employed. Now, as they have put this back to the autumn, they then have the opportunity to perhaps drop the relatively low-yielding NI point and perhaps go on and as part of a wider review sort of see what further rise in taxation they could actually make that would be more acceptable. Corporation tax has come down again, or will come down. By 2020 it will be 17%. And again, as has already been pointed out, the actual yield from corporation tax has actually gone up. So it will be interesting to see where we are actually on the Laffer curve that has been discussed. Are we actually at the peak, or is it possible that corporation tax could go down further and would yield more? And the main aim behind this is obviously to attract inward investment from overseas as well, to attract companies to the UK to do business, and obviously to then employ people in the UK, which would again improve our income tax and national insurance yields. Their latest salvo of measures is to start charging penalties on those who arrange or facilitate or enable tax avoidance arrangements. So if you are an enabler, then, and the tax scheme in question is defeated, then you could face a penalty. What you will have to do is you will go and have to take your own advice and pay for it. You're going to take your own advice as to whether that scheme works. If you don't, and it fails, then you will be charged a penalty, and the penalties are quite severe. At the same time, the Revenue and the government have been working and pressurising the professional institutes, such as the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales and the Chartered Institute of Tax, to encourage those members to stamp out or drive out tax avoidance. So what the institutes have done is that they've now issued professional guidance to us all that says that we must not create, encourage or promote tax planning arrangements that are contrary to the clear intention of Parliament or seek to exploit shortcomings within the relevant legislation. This new guidance leaves members open to disciplinary action if we break that. So pretty much an individual who goes and seeks independent advice from someone that is actually qualified to give it on these arrangements will find that we will not give clearance. We will say it probably isn't going to work because we ourselves don't want to end up on the wrong side of a disciplinary hearing. So arguably this is a very successful measure that the Revenue have put in place. Thank you very much for your time.